Your boy Scott Parker and Burnley, they tied Liverpool up in knots until the last-ditch brain fart from Hannibal Mejri and that Mo Salah penalty. Did Liverpool get lucky?
Yeah, I think so. That's what Arne Slot said after the game as well. You know, when they don't play well, it's either a moment of magic, as we saw with Szoboszlai against Arsenal before the international break, or some luck, and they were lucky. And Burnley, if Burnley want to stay up, and I don't think they will, but if they want to stay up, they just have to stop with those silly, naive mistakes. This one, the Antonio one against United. I can't continue like that. They deserve the draw because they fought really hard. It was not pretty. They just defended pretty much for 90 minutes. And Liverpool could not find a way. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a penalty and a mistake.
Milos Kerkez gets booked for a dive, and then Slot takes him off in the 38th minute. And then he says, I took him off because I didn't want him to get sent off. This is my view. I think there's more to it than that. Definitely. I think if you take him off, you are humiliating him, which is fine. But then come out and say you did it because you cheated. And that could have cost us. Exactly. I don't like it. Otherwise, because if you're just about that, then just
every game when there's somebody on a yellow, you take him off.
Well, or wait till halftime and take him off. You didn't need Kerkez in this game for the way they were playing. Andy Robertson's more than enough.
But
should there be concerns? Because Salah's been a ghost so far this season. McAllister not fully fit. Maybe he's tired again, not impacting.
Coming off a halftime.
Florian Wirtz, I think he was a really bright spark, but I still don't think he's found his position on the pitch.
Yeah, and then Ekitike is struggling at times when Liverpool are not really in that mojo. So it's not worrying because they've won 4 in 4 and they are the only team in the country to have done that. And they seem to find those late winners. Fergie time is now the Slot time or Arne time if you want, which is pretty good to have under your belt. They will get better, obviously, because they're just too good not to be better and to stay this average. But for now, it's a bit underwhelming, that's for sure. And sticking with Liverpool, Gabby Oliver Glasner denied reports that he would resign. He was going to resign had Marguerite was sold to Liverpool on the last day of the transfer window. I bet you're not surprised.
No, because I never believed it. As you know, I remember I asked you the transaction here, right? So the transaction is when we thought, originally you thought, well, would you rather have no Glasner, but because he resigns in anger, but 35 million, and you don't lose Gay, but 35 million.
So no Glasner, no Gay. But
alternative is you have Glasner and you lose Gay for nothing in the summer. And you said, I'd rather have Glasner. Now you can have Glasner, you can have the 35 million, and you sign another center back in January. Would you take that deal?
No.
You still wouldn't.
No,
All right. This is an agree to disagree situation.
Arsenal rolled past Nottingham Forest and new boss Ange Postecoglou 3-0 as Martin Zubimendi backs 2 goals. Gab, 5 newcomers in the starting lineup for the Gunners.
Brand new front line. Eberechieze, Noni Madueke. Hey, what happened to the no to Madueke hashtag, by the way?
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, Victor Gyökeres, Zubimendi, and Mosquera at the back. It's funny because I'm a big believer that when you change a lot of pieces in a team, in the long run, maybe it's a benefit because you've got more options, but in the short term, you lose chemistry. I'm really impressed with how I thought Arsenal looked really compact.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, Force are not very good, and there's a new manager and whatever, but I was really impressed with how they did this. And I think we might get to the point where it's not going to be that easy sharing out playing time, and maybe some people aren't going to be as automatic once all the injured guys are back. And there was no Declan Rice either. This felt like a different team. It didn't feel like Arsenal, frankly.
Yeah. Chelsea travelled to Brentford on Saturday night and gave up an injury time equaliser of a long throw. Gabs, 2 points dropped.
2 points dropped because you look silly when the guy throws it from the sideline. It goes all the way across, especially if you've got a fancy set-piece coach who you paid significant amounts of money for and who I believe used to work at Brentford. That said, we can go and focus on all this, and it's disappointing. More of a concern to me, if I'm at Esca, is you've got a Cole Palmer dependency problem, which I thought they had beaten. They have not beaten this. And he came on minute 54. Before that, they produced almost nothing. And it was Cole Palmer, of course, off of the João Pedro header, who scored the equalizer. It was Cole Palmer who should have had another one.
Yeah.
It was Cole Palmer who clears a space for Moises Caicedo for his shot at the end. Guys, it can't just be him. You have to find a way to get productivity out of other players.
I thought Ouattara was offside on that second goal on the long throw. I thought he interfered. I thought he was offside at the beginning and then interfered.
Yeah, you're angry, but you know what? You shouldn't be in that
No,
position.
true, but
and your performance is rubbish. And you're playing against
at.
freaking Brentford, whose coach is Keith Andrews. This is his debut season. This shouldn't be it.
No, that's true.
Spurs beat West Ham 3-0 away, Jules. It doesn't help when your veteran midfield leader gets sent off 9 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, that's true. Souček with the red card obviously changed the game, although even before that, Spurs were better.
Yeah, the first half was pretty
Well, I think
rubbish from both
the last
teams,
25 minutes of that first half, it was all Spurs. They took the lead, and I don't know why that goal was disallowed. It's completely stupid. But hey, in the end, they won, and that's all they would care about. Nick Woltemade made quite an impact on his debut for Newcastle, Gav, who beat Wolves 1-0.
Yeah, up there, people get a little bit mystical. There was no Wisa who was injured. Just a last-minute scratch. And so the big man comes on, and what does he do? Even though Voldemort is 11 feet tall, he scores a header, which is not something he does very, very often. Soars into the air. Already, he looks funny. He looks different. Newcastle fans already adore him. And I think they get patronized a little bit because of their passion for football and whatever else. But he looks like a cartoon character, and he suits them perfectly. Don't expect headers like this every week, but do expect other contributions because he is a creative, unusual type of player who can help you a lot.
Chelsea are facing 74 FA charges over improper payments to agents and players during the Roman Abramovich era. We mentioned it a little bit on Thursday's show. Gab, the Times now reports that some intermediaries are generally scared of what might come out.
So there's two pieces of this. I think both are worth mentioning. One is that these are the charges that when Todd Bowley and Bali and Clear Lake took over Chelsea, they went through the books, they did the due diligence, and they found all these potentially improper illegal payments off the books and so on, both to players and to agents. And they all date back from between 2009 and 2022. So they self-reported. They said, guys, we think there might be something illegal here against the rules. Chelsea, UEFA, as we know, fined them 10 million euros. Said thank you very much for violating financial fair play. The FA charges go much deeper because some of UEFA's charges are time barred, and UEFA can only act on how those charges impacted financial fair play.
Yeah,
Premier League can go much further. And so there's an ethical question which I'm going to pose to you. If Chelsea were found to have broken the rules, and obviously Bowley and Bali believe they have. Yes, as a club, they self-reported, and they're the people who are now running it. Equally, you can make the point, Chelsea won things and became more successful because they broke rules.
Yeah.
Is it fair to punish Chelsea now when there's different owners, and the owners actually came out and said, hey, we found this, or do you give them a pass?
No, I think you'll sanction them, but maybe not as you would have done if it would steal the old ownership.
So only with a fine.
Yeah, I think so. And I think this is fair.
The other thing is, I spoke to two different intermediaries who did business with Chelsea in that era, and they completely backed up the Times story. That there's a lot of people who, and people don't fully understand this, that there were payments that were made off the books. And the only one that's come out, because the Times reported it, is John Biko, the Eden Hazard's agent. But the reason this is important, and I think should be reminded, it's not just that when these payments are made off the books, that obviously no taxes are paid on them and you get around financial fair play and whatever. It's also the fact that these are just cash payments going to some dodge pot offshore place like Dubai in Biko's case or Cayman or whatever. They can't be traced. So that money can and has in the past, I'm not saying it's in this case, other people establish that, but the risk is that money then gets used to bribe club officials who make certain decisions to favor agents and players. So this is a major hornet's nest, and we'll see what comes out of it. And I think Bowley and Bali did the right thing in coming forward and self-reporting.
Bart Walker at the Etihad Stadium was removed after he was spotted wearing a Manchester United shirt at the derby on Sunday. Gab, are you okay with this?
Yeah, apparently he was grassed up. Somebody saw this and posted it on social media. Took a picture of him. Look, I feel bad for the guy. Maybe he lost money on his shift on the weekend.
Yeah, but what is he doing?
I gotta say, you're an absolute moron. Yeah. If you do that, you're disrespectful to your employer. Presumably, City have rules about this, about appropriate attire. Wearing the other team's shirt isn't one of them.
Definitely.
I don't know. I saw the picture of the guy. He does not look like somebody.
He doesn't seem to care either, and you can clearly see as well the shirt.
So he doesn't even seem like somebody who's particularly switched on. Yeah. So yeah, I got no issue with this whatsoever.